You can't just say I'm young and dumb, so I keep getting write-ups. I don't disagree that you're young and dumb, but this is ridiculous. Like, I mean, you thought you were pretty bad breaking into a cop's car, didn't you? That is some nerve. All right, sir, you're Bryce Thomas. And Mr. Thomas was previously in court, entered pleas of guilty in cause number 24, DCCR 0389 to the third degree felony offense of prohibited weapon. Cause number 24, DCCR 0390, also a third degree felony of possession of a prohibited weapon. Cause number 24, DCCR 0391, pled guilty to the state jail felony offense of theft of a firearm. Cause number 24, DCCR 0392, pled guilty to the lesser offense of indecency with a child by exposure, also a third degree felony. There was no plea agreement. I have received and reviewed the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yeah.
In addition, there is also the largest packet I've ever received of jail incident reports in a case. Did everyone have an opportunity to review those?
Yes, I took it evening.
35 pages.
One evening doing it. State reviewed all 35.
In addition, the state has filed a state sentencing memorandum. Mr. Burbank, did you receive that and were you able to review it? Okay. Anything else? Any objections or corrections or additions to the report? All right, Mr. Burbank, you may proceed.
Your Honor, this is a very young kid that in a very short period of time, I slipped off the cliff and got himself in so I will represent to the court that my only case last family. One of my issues was the recovery of the weapons because of the law enforcement. I will represent to the court that on to immediately, seriously, but the agenda up in my office in the front hallway and will return the insurance. And I got court to take notice that they're going to involve to speak.
You speak up a little bit.
Oh, back into the report. We go open because I do not have a recommendation. You can place him on probation for a period of 10 years and see what he does. These are third degree felonies that continue at this very end state jail. I do. I was definitely following. You could put him in a state jail with 4 period time. Fill out probation for the other one. I would ask that if you are the one to send him to that maybe in reference to the sexual offense, that you place him on probation. So yeah, some accountability for him. See that out for a period of time. Now you support me whether or not his line is lesser. Now, as you heard, he's 33 pages of incident reports with my time they funny. I've talked at length, Mr. Thomas, about those. And we'd like to address the court on those. It is what it is, and that's not behavior of whether or not he would be able to follow court's orders if you can't follow what's going on in the reference to probation. I would ask that the court would ask Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, go ahead. You have something to say?
Well, you don't have to say. I could just say it's just young, dumb, just being in jail at a young age and not really knowing what. I got write-ups.
Yeah, but once you get several write-ups, the whole point of growing up is to learn from your mistakes. So if you keep getting write-ups, then you can't just say I'm young and dumb, so I keep getting write-ups. I don't disagree that you're young and dumb, but this is ridiculous. I know our jail cannot wait for you to get out. Cannot wait. Mr. Coleman?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll be brief since I put everything, I made the state position clear in our sentencing memorandum. I'd like to briefly shift focus from the write-ups to the underlying facts in this case,
Yeah.
which I believe are
Still in out of cop cars.
It's still in from patrol vehicles, at least 2 patrol units, Your Honor. Detective Matt Dixon is here if you want to hear more details of the detective. But Your Honor, I think the audacity, the boldness to steal these weapons from a police car goes to show what exactly the nature of this defendant is and what we're dealing with here. And even more than that, Judge, it appears from the underlying facts that the detective may be implicated in a series of car burglaries. We've got a Glock switch that converted one of those weapons into a fully automatic weapon. He was conspiring with another juvenile, a 16-year-old, to steal the weapons, which a photograph is attached to my sentencing memorandum if you've seen it. This was nothing less than an arsenal that these kids are making, Judge. I shudder to think what could have become of these weapons if they would end up in the hands of other criminals, if they could have been used against law enforcement, Your Honor. Long gone are the days where there's a low caliber Saturday night special that these kids use, and sometimes we find they are loaded for bear with fully automatic weapons. I'd ask the court to make an example out of this. He benefits from not having a criminal history to speak of, but Your Honor, this is beyond the pale. I ask you to send him do 2 things: a split sentence in this case, sentence him to prison for what he's done, and then following that, consecutive probation period so that we can continue to monitor him and supervise him after he's released from prison. Thank you.
So I wanted to make sure, Mr. Coleman, I've done this type of sentencing that you're asking for on some different cases. I think the probation period, if I sentence him to probation today, I don't know that I can make that consecutive. So I think
I believe you can, Judge, and if you need to recess this proceeding, I can get you case law to appreciable.
because when would it start?
We'll start after you get into this period of incarceration.
Okay. So whatever I give him, if I do prison and then I say it's consecutive with a probation, and does it matter if it's a straight or a,
Yes. Yeah, I have to do.
no, I appreciate the idea. Again, we've done it sometimes. I mean, what are you doing with all these?
In Texas, a judge.
Not sure, bro.
Sir?
Not sure.
Not shooting people yet. What are you shooting? Why would you have these? What are you getting these to shoot at? Just to be tough and say you have guns? That's all that's happening with these guns on the street is y'all are shooting at each other, at other people, at houses, at cars, at whatever. There's no reason to have these kind of guns. These aren't hunting guns, right? You're not going to shoot a deer. Do you hunt?
I do.
Do you?
4 of them.
Have you? Which one of these is your hunting gun?
None of those.
You thought you were pretty bad breaking into a cop's car, didn't you? That is some nerve. I mean, seriously, you're the second person I've had in 11 years that has had the nerve to do that. Here's what I'm going to do, because I agree with Mr. Coleman. I would like, at least in the indecency case, to get treatment and probation on that case so that we know you're not going to go make that type of bad decision again. But I'm not giving you probation on everything. You want to change your life and do better and not be young and dumb. You're going to have some time to figure that out. So in cause number 24, DCCR 0389, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of possession of a prohibited weapon. Mr. Coleman actually asked me to sentence you to 5 years. I don't think that's enough. I'm going to sentence you in that case to 7 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You'll receive credit on that sentence for any time you've been in custody. And part of the reason I made it lengthier is because you have been in custody so long, and a 5-year sentence really isn't going to amount to much. Cause number 24, DCCR 0390, also finds sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time finds you guilty of possession of a prohibited weapon. Sentence you to a term of 7 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will also receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 24, DCCR 0391, finds sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time finds you guilty of the state jail felony offense of theft of a firearm. Sentence you to a term of 2 years in the state jail prison. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. Then in cause number 24, DCCR 0392, finds sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, in that case, I'm going to defer all proceedings, place you on probation. No, that's the third. I'm going to find you guilty of that offense, sentence you to a term of 10 years in the Institutional Division, but I'm going to suspend that and place you on probation for 10 years. Mm-hmm.
For the with the registration, it would, if he did comply after he got out, that he may have a chance instead of a conviction.
He's already got 3 convictions.
I
Fourth.
understand that, but a sexual charge.
May I respond there? That is a reduced to a reduced charge.
I agree.
Okay.
Can I give it straight on indecency though? Hold on.
So
I think it has to be deferred. Hold on. That has to be deferred. Okay, so I'm going to go back in that cause number, which ends in 0392. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to defer all proceedings and I'm going to place you on probation for 10 years. That will run consecutively to the other cases. So that probation does not start until you get out of prison. Then if you violate that probation, you could be sentenced up to 10 years in that case. So you're going to be under supervision or in custody for a very long time. So if you really want to change your ways, you're going to have every opportunity to do that. If you don't, you're going to end up, number one, you're probably not going to make parole if you keep acting like you've been acting here. If you get to prison and you act like this, you're not going to make your parole. You're going to do that whole 7 years. That's going to be up to you. The sooner you get out and act right, the sooner you can start this other probation and get off of it, grow up, and maybe change your life. That's going to be up to you. On that deferred, I am going to order a $500 fine that you follow all of the conditions of probation. That's going to include sex offender treatment, going to whatever classes are necessary, staying clean, not getting any trouble, all of those kinds of things. Do you understand? Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, is there a deadly weapon finding option in these weapons?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless you can, I don't think that's,
Within the letter?
well, and they're not, possession of a prohibited in the 3G. So I don't think we can, yeah. All right. So all of these are actually wrong because y'all marked off plea bargain and there wasn't a plea bargain. So I'm going to hand you the trial court certification in all of your cases. This shows that these were not a plea agreement.
It was a plea agreement, Judge. Did I say so? No.
Oh, because of,
No, it was an unauthorized use that we agreed with.
and also the lesser offense in that. So there was consideration taken. So this was an agreement, at least for those reductions. Okay. So you have waived your right to appeal. In these cases, I'm going to hand you those certifications. I'm also handing you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgments entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read that written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition or about how long that lasts, you can talk with Mr. Burbank. All right, good luck to you, sir. You can go back with the bailiff.